This is Romo Dunze, and you're listening to the Ballsville Podcast.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
And now, your host of the Ballsville Podcast, Scott Fitzgerald.
Oh, wow.
So, welcome in, Ballsville gamers, to another episode of the Ballsville Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Fitzgerald, aka Lose for Sale on Sleeper. This episode is brought to you by the Ballsville Games. Our games combine fantasy football and poker, which create big payouts with great odds. All right, gang, welcome in. I'm going to introduce you to my panel. In the background, doing all the crazy tunes for you guys, it's Sarah M21 out in Cali. What's up, Sarah? We have my that is good intro music, El Presidente. My co-host, he's Bill's Mafia. Huge trade today we'll be talking about, and you can see his background. He is S. Clem. What's up, Sean?
What's up, buddy?
And the good old boy from West Texas, back again. He's part of the duo on the Monday night Guillotine Pod with Sean. He is Connor C-Bomb, and we have another trade that we're going to talk about for a player that he's followed his whole career. What's up, Connor?
Yes, sir. Yeah, how's it going?
All right. A lot of good info today. We got a couple major trades in the NFL. A lot of good information for you guys. But before we get into those, we'll do a little bit of the run through. But I just want to let everybody know Ken is not here again today. He still has hurricane cleanup, and he plans on being back next Tuesday. So we wish him well. Also, we would like you guys to like and subscribe to our podcast. It helps a lot. And also go to the ballsvillegames.com. That's our website. It has all our tools on there, all the links for all our games. Alex, our president, works very tirelessly on that, along with myself, and and JoJo, who does the DFS tool stuff. And so it's coming along really good. Please go on there. And we've had a lot of winners with DFS. A lot of people love the tools and everything. So definitely get on there and check it out. Okay, we'll get into some news and notes. We'll run through the quarterbacks real quick. Looks like Tua's expected to come back in this year. It's looking like probably week 8 when he'll be back. Anthony Richardson, pretty crappy last week. Everybody probably had him in their lineups, and at the last second had to take him out. I don't know, man. I mean, Flacco looks pretty good in this offense. I mean, we'll see what happens, but Shane Steichen says, A Rich is going to be the starting quarterback when he's healthy. So we'll see about that. Other than that, Russell Wilson looks like he's going to probably get the start this week, which I don't really agree on. I'll go to the panel. What do you guys think? You think I'll go with Sean. Sean, you think the Steelers should they're winning games. Should they just stay with Justin Fields? He has the upside.
Yeah, no, I definitely think they should, but it's hard to second guess Mike Tomlin. You know, he's one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL, so it's hard for me to sit here and second guess a guy like with his track record. But I'm with you. It's perplexing, I guess is a good word to say. Like, I just don't understand why you make this move at 4-2. But it's not like Fields has been lighting up the field with passing yards either. I think he's got like 150 something passing yards this week or something like that. So, he's just not maybe hitting the Pickens the way he needs to. Who knows what's going on in the locker room? But I don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right move. I think Russell has kind of shown us that he's past his prime. But hey, again, gotta trust in Tomlin until he proves us wrong, I guess.
Well, Connor, all we care about is fantasy, and in fantasy, even if your quarterback doesn't throw for a lot of passing yards, if he's got legs, that's what's going to score you some points. What do you think about the decision?
Yeah, I think it sucks for fantasy. I don't think many people are real excited for Russell Wilson to bring fantasy-wise, but I do think it does open some doors for Pickens, like Sean said a little bit. Like they're hoping maybe Tomlin's a big fantasy guy and he wants Pickens to get a little bit more involved. But Russell Wilson, as just him isn't real exciting. But maybe he can open Freiermuth or Pickens.
Got you. I feel about the same way. I'd like the upside in Justin Fields. Plus, they're winning. All right, we'll move on to the running backs. It looks like ETN is considered week to week with a hamstring injury. Tank Bigsby wasn't super exciting, but I guess we got to fire him up. We'll see what happens in that situation. Same thing with Tajay Spears. He's week to week with a hamstring injury. Jerome Ford, hamstring injury. He'll be week to week. Nick Chubb, he looks like he may be ready this week, maybe not. I would kind of look at that situation, but the right now the Browns are on offense. They're horrible. They're a dumpster fire. Kendry Miller looks like he is ready to go this week. Elvin Kamara had a hand injury, but I think he's going to be ready to go. So it'll be interesting how they use Kendry Miller this week. I've had a lot of shares of this guy, and this guy is just, he just cannot stay healthy. Same with Jonathan Brooks. Looks like he's going to be ready to come back. Hopefully week 7 or 8. They'll probably ramp him off pretty slowly. Aaron Jones is doing light work with the hip. I've already talked about Kamara. Jordan Mason with this AC joint injury. He's participated in practice Monday. I know people have been picking up Garendo. And so the people that did pick up Garendo, just hang on to him just in case Mason cannot go. I'm going to go to Sean on this one. So, Sean, James Cook was out with turf toe. We talked a little bit about it last week. You came out and said you love Ty Chandler in that situation. And I said, I don't know, man.
Ty Johnson.
Or Ty Johnson, I'm sorry. I don't know. I like this Ray Davis kid. I think he's got some juice. And so what do you have to say for yourself today?
The first thing I have to say is thank you, Connor, for correcting him, because I was going to let him run with the Ty Chandler, so there wasn't a soundbite that actually had Ty Johnson and me hyping him up in the same sentence. But you had to go and ruin that for me, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
That shows you how important Ty Johnson is to me when I can't even get it right.
No, man, I said it last night too. I'll say it again, man. I definitely was wrong. And the worst part is that Connor brought it up yesterday too, that I was on the Ray Davis train all preseason because I did like what I see from him. I just didn't think the coaching staff was ready to put any faith in him for the game. But like I said, I was wrong, and they obviously were, and he proved that they had the right opportunity to do that because this kid blew up. So moving forward now, I'd be slightly concerned for James Cook, not so much as like he's going to be completely like taken over by Ray or anything, but that this could be more of a timeshare than it has been up to this point.
I think you do owe Zubicic an apology. He picked up Ty Johnson for his guillotine league.
Yes. I apologized like 8 times last night. I'll continue to apologize tonight if it makes you feel any better.
He says he needs another one.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
If I wanted to screw somebody over, you'd be the last person in the world I would want to do that to.
Yeah, he'd do it to me. He'd do it to me.
Yeah, Jeff's like the nicest guy in the world.
Connor would be top 5 on the list. I mean,
me and Trevor.
Yeah. So,
oh man.
Yeah,
that was definitely a missed call on my part, though. Especially when it's about my own squad, it hurts even more.
Yeah. So that was definitely quite unfortunate. But yeah, he looked good.
Ray Davis owners.
Hey,
the Ray
Sarah,
Davis owners were happy.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just came in right at that conversation. It was funny that you mentioned the whole thing about Ty Johnson because I was thinking of that when I was watching the game last night. I was like, oh man, Sean was sure Ty Johnson was going to get all those touches.
It was the only thing that was making me sad during the game. That and the stupid Hail Mary and horrible refereeing.
Take the win. Just take the win.
Yeah, just take the win.
Oh, thank God. If we did not win that game, I don't know. You guys might not be seeing me today.
Yeah.
You would have to be like sending over like wellness checks or something on me.
Yeah, if the Jets didn't have the human leg in their missing field goals, you guys would have been cooked.
I would have field goals. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't that big. It was a 2-point difference, really, when you count the field goals that were missed on their end and the extra point field goal we missed.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll get into the receivers. Dotavian Wicks, he's out. He's week to week with shoulder injury. Romeo Doubs looked good, Connor.
Yeah.
So obviously he's going to probably step up in that role.
You think he stays in Green Bay with all the movement going on in the NFL, or do you think he's going to end up getting traded?
I think Dobbs stays there. They're built a young receiving core there. He looks comfortable. I know he had that issue, last week or before last week, where he suspended a game, but I think they worked that out. I think he looks, him and Jaden Reed look the most comfortable in that offense. If anybody's out, it's probably going to be Christian Watson.
Whoa. That struck a chord.
I'm not saying he's going to be. I'm just saying if anybody would be, it'd be Christian Watson over Dobbs.
Watson could benefit more somewhere else for sure.
We got a great Scott soundbite right there, by the way, guys. We need to clip that.
he loves him from Christian Watson. He'll never let him go. Just like Jonathan Mingo. He's still holding on hope.
No,
hey, I'm standing right next to Scott with that Christian Watson sign and a Sharpie.
Yeah. No, Jonathan Mingo's he's fell off the cliff already.
Wow. One weekend is a lot to
It's like a quarter, almost a half a season by now.
Yeah, he's
all right. Cooper Kupp, fire him up. Looks like he could be back for week 7. That's tremendous news. There's also been a little bit of chatter about possibly moving him that I kind of read. Puka Nacua is still not practicing, so that's probably a couple more weeks out at least. Rashid Shaheed did not. So this is big. So no Rashid Shaheed. He didn't practice Monday. Chris Olave is probably going to miss Thursday. They have an early game this Thursday, so he's going to be out. I don't know. I'll go to Sarah. I know it sucks putting you on the spot, but
it's all right. I was thinking about it.
Have you even looked about maybe anybody who you'd even play in the Saints as far as receiving? I know they got a guy named Bob Means.
Yeah. No, I also think Rashid still has a chance to practice though in minimal fashion is early. So I'm still looking for him to practice later in the week before make any big decisions. But I have picked up Means in a few leagues just to have that kind of backup. And I mean, as I know Juwan Johnson hasn't been doing a ton, but they might turn to him a bit. I mean, is Taysom coming back anytime soon?
He's got them that ribs, and ribs are such a bad injury.
Yeah.
But a guy I want to shoot out to you guys. His name's Mason Tipton. He looks pretty good. He's been targeted even with Rashid and Olave in the offense. So he might be a sneaky ad this week. You probably get him for free. I'm sure nobody picked him up because everyone's jumping on memes. But Tipton, you can probably get him for free. Actually, you probably get memes for free too.
Probably.
Anyone's going to really run out and grab these guys. But because there's only 2 teams on the bye this week, Chicago and Dallas. So people should be pretty good with their lineups. Ricky Pearsall, he's looks like he has 21 days to be active from the NFI list. So look for that. He could be a really sneaky stash if you got roster space to pick him up now before everyone else gets onto it for deeper benches. So I would definitely do that. Another guy, let's see. That might be it for injuries. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All I got for injuries. So now we're gonna talk about some 2 big trades. We have 2 guys on the panel that follow. We're gonna follow these follow these players and very closely and the team that it went to. So we'll start off with Sean, my co-host, and the big trade. If you look in the background, he's got Amari Cooper, which everyone knows I'm not a big fan of. So Sean, I'm just going to give the floor to you. I mean, go ahead and break this down.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I can understand not being a fan of the situation, but how can you not be a fan of a guy who's getting that type of separation for as long as he has? It's like saying you don't like Mike Evans. I mean, come on. Like Amari Cooper has proven that he's a capable receiver. He just hasn't had anybody capable of throwing him the ball. Deshaun left his quarterback arm in the massage parlor, and he has not been the same since. So we have no idea.
He had Dak Prescott throwing him the ball. He'd break out.
Yeah, he's doing okay. I mean, that was his first quarterback coming out of college. He took a little time to develop, but he was playing great. And then they didn't want to pay to keep him because they drafted CD.
So it looks
like the Raiders first.
So it looks like you guys gave up a 2025 6th-round pick.
No, it's a 2025 third rounder and a 2026 7th rounder
for Cooper and a 5th.
Cooper in the 6th. Cooper in a 2025 6th.
I mean,
which will probably be close to a 5th because it's the Browns.
I'm excited about this trade for my Cooper shares in fantasy for sure.
Yeah, and I think so.
Go ahead.
The also part of this deal that really is beneficial for Buffalo is that his entire salary was basically covered up to this point by his by the Browns. So it's literally only like a $700,000 cap hit, and he's either going to move on after the season or they could sign him for a good deal if he decides he wants to stay because things go well. But so it's a good move fiscally, and I think you're getting for the player they're getting compared to what the compensation and the amount of money that the Jets are paying for Davante Adams. I think that this is a better move based on, how it's going to play out for the Bills versus the Jets.
Okay, Sean, who's the sacrificial lamb in this offense for targets?
MVS, they already cut him. Oh, you mean for Target? I'm sorry. I thought you meant like who were they getting rid of?
No, he's been gone. I mean, I forgot he was even on the team.
Yeah, I know. Half the people in the world did. If you weren't a Bills fan, you pretty much didn't even know he existed.
Yeah,
Chase
so who's the
Claypool.
sacrificial lamb for targets then in this offense?
I mean, I don't think there's really a sacrificial lamb for targets. They haven't really had a ton of targets going around because it's been so run heavy, right? Like, I think this is going to allow for them to actually kind of go back into some more of a passing offense from time to time.
That's a
especially
non-answer. That's a
behind.
non-answer.
What is it? It's
That's
not
a
an
non-answer.
I think it's honestly, I think it's going to benefit Kincaid a lot. I think it's going to benefit Shakir a lot. And then I think the odd man out is Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins is probably just going to be relegated to like special teams work. And Curtis Samuel is probably going to be very minimal, maybe 1-2 touches at the most. So those are the two guys. If you have to say anything, those are the two guys.
I think it's going to be the rookie. I
Keon?
think it's
That's the
rookie.
correct answer.
No, I think Keon is going to be about where he's been. I mean, 2 to 3 targets a game, maybe
That's
4
awesome.
in scenarios, but it'll slow his growth a lot. I don't think he's going to have like a like come on at the end of the season kind of scenario for him because of that. He might come up a little bit as far as his ability, but I don't think he's going to be like that guy who's going to end the season getting 2 targets a game.
Got you. All right. Okay. Let me move on. I'm going to move on to another big trade.
Zoobs is right, by the way. Keon's going to go in the slot, and that could open things up for him too. So
then where's Shakir going to go then?
look at T-Ball just hating on all these answers, bro. These illegitimate answers, bro. Like
I actually agree with Connor. I mean, I think the rookie's going to take a step back, and I don't think he's going to get. I don't think they're going to put him in the slot because that's Shakir's spot.
A lot of people are really hoping that Keon does something special. So.
They're infatuated with Keon.
on one
and they
side,
just
you
need
got
to let it
Amari
go.
on the other, Khalil in the middle, and Dalton at tight end. I don't see how Keon is going to miss out.
I think they're going to split out Kincaid and put Knox in line.
Yeah, they'll do that from time to time, but they're not going to do that all the time. When they have 3 wide receiver sets, it's going to be Keon, Cooper, and Shakir.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to monitor the situation, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they needed a receiver. I mean, I don't hate the Bills for doing it.
And one that's getting separation. That's the key. We have not had any separation out of our receiving core, and this man has been the best at it and one of the best at it in the NFL for a decade.
Got you. All right. That's from our Bills expert, Sklem. So
Bills expert. Ty Johnson.
Hey, don't make mistakes, okay? Let's keep talking about it, shall we?
all right, we'll move on to our Davante Adams expert, and that is Connor. And there's a huge trade today, another huge trade. It was the New York Rodgers. They made a trade for Davante Adams. So
The
what do you think about this trade there, Connor?
I like it a lot. I mean, a lot of people are like falling off the Wilson trade. Don't give me the eye roll, Bills Mafia up there. I think the Jets and the Bills both saw where they were last night with receivers, and they're not, happy. I mean, obviously Wilson got a lot for the Jets, but besides that, they really didn't look too smooth. Lazard, I mean, he's not the most talented guy in the world, but he's produced, and I think that if they get a talented guy out there, it's going to make their offense work even better. The Bills saw the same thing. They weren't really getting separation. I mean, the Jets, don't get me wrong, have one of the best, CB cores in the league, but the Bills thought they needed to compete for a Super Bowl. They thought they needed a guy that can separate from even, decent cornerbacks. So I think the Jets. Brady said they're being 2-4, trading for a 30-year-old wide receiver. I mean, they're trying to compete for a Super Bowl. So
Let me
they
ask
have
you,
to
do
make
you
that
think a
move.
30-year-old wide receiver is better for that team right now than going out and trying to get a stud tackle to help with their offensive line woes?
I mean, I think Devontae's wanting to get traded. So, I mean, I think that's a good move for him. Aaron has shown the ability to be able to get the ball out quick. He just hasn't trusted his receivers to do that this year, in all honesty. So he's tried to do it a couple of times. I think he had one pick six last week doing that. And then he had a drop by Mike Williams this week of doing the, cover zero, quick throw, and receiver either dropped it or is not in the right place. So I don't mind the move for the Jets. I mean, they're trying to compete for a Super Bowl. Their quarterback's, not aging backwards. So they have to do that. I mean, there's no reason for them to go get another rookie. So
He ain't no Benjamin Button.
yeah, exactly. So they have to do that to compete for a Super Bowl. I mean, it's not dynasty folks, you know what I'm saying? They're not trying to have the youngest team.
I agree. I agree with Brady in the chat. He says the Jets are 2-4. There's other needs on that offense. They had Lazard, which looks great. They got Garrett Wilson as a number one. You don't need to bring in another receiver just because the quarterback has basically runs the team and gets what he wants. So I'm going to go back to Connor and say, Connor, now Mike Williams is dust. So
yeah, they said they're open to trading him.
Wilson's going to get his targets. So obviously Lazard he's going to be the sacrificial lamb in this offense then probably, right?
I mean, it's not. I mean, like you said, it's Mike Williams. I mean, I think Lazard still plays a role. There.
He's not too much of a connection.
Watch Mike Williams go to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably honestly what's it could happen very likely. Mike Williams has looked good in parts. He's made some great contested catches, but he's not the guy that.
Yeah, I mean, and watch him go to the Chiefs, and then he'll become like a fantasy stud for like the second half of the season, and people will be clamoring for Mike Williams.
I think they probably put, Wilson more in the slot role. I've been comparing it to like a Godwin, Mike Evans situation type thing. I'm pretty confident that, neither guy is going to take a back seat to the other. I think both are going to, thrive. I think
it helps Wilson more than it hurts Wilson.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Lazard and Conklin and all of the other secondary targets, and maybe Brees in the passing game too.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Sean, 100%. I think Wilson, has been double covered, been shaded over, been played by their best cornerback, and they honestly won't be able to do that anymore on both sides of the ball or on both ends of the field. So I think it helps both people. I mean, Adams wanted completely out of the Raiders. I mean, he faked a hamstring injury for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I think it's good fantasy-wise for sure.
I don't think he faked the injury. I think it was a legit injury, but he might have embellished it a little bit and not wanted to go out on the field this week because of he probably maybe could have played if he wanted to this week. But
I think he could play both.
You're pretty much out the door anyway. So
I think he could have played both weeks. I mean, I'm not here to speculate. I'm just saying that's what everybody's saying that he's.
Well, that's what we all do. I mean, we're all speculating on like how these guys are going to do in fantasy and everything. Pretty much our entire podcast is built on speculation.
I'm talking about injury speculation, but yeah.
I know.
Well, like I said, before I get Sarah in here, I just think the Jets are just a terrible organization, and this move was, it's all in now. I mean, if they don't make it to the playoffs, this is all coming down on Aaron Rodgers, and he better take it like a man and not. I'm so sick and tired of his facial expressions on the sidelines. Somebody doesn't catch a ball or run the right route and this and that. So I'm just tired.
The only thing I did like out of him was that his facial expression after that ridiculously bad roughing the passer call. Even he was like, "That's not roughing the passer."
Yeah, he said it. Yeah, he said it afterwards. I mean,
he said it like, "Dude, I wasn't roughed. Like that was not a roughing the passer."
Yeah. So Sarah, which trade long term do you like better in fantasy?
For sure, Amari Cooper for fantasy. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I think Adams is amazing. And even if this is his last year, he's going to be great. But I mean, I don't know. I say Amari because I feel like the Bills needed someone like Amari. And with the Jets, it feels like Lazard's been getting a great amount. Garrett Wilson's been getting a good amount. And like Connor said, it'll be a good distraction to keep guys, like, to make sure that people are distracted by Adams or Garrett, and they won't know, they can't put too much coverage on one person because of it, which is great for the team, but maybe not fantasy, because now he might be spreading the ball around even more. And it's not just going to go to one of those guys. With Cooper, I feel like he might be the only one that's doing what he's doing on that team.
Got you. All right.
I think Josh Allen benefits a lot.
Yeah, no, I think in the long run, I agree. I think the Cooper will probably be the better. Like I said, I'm just going from one dumpster fire to another dumpster fire, and we're going to move on to the Dallas Cowboys. What a disgusting organization this is. What a disgusting performance they put on Sunday. First of all, they come out in their blues, which they never wear at home. So I knew right away it was going to be a horrible game for them. They come out in their blues. The Lions came out there, and you know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of, and I'm a Lions fan, and so is Zoobs. This reminded me of like when I was a kid and I'm playing football with my buddies, and I'm like, okay, I draw a play in the sand, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to hand the ball to you. You flip it back to me. I'll flip it to this guy, and we'll throw it deep for a touchdown. And that's what the Lions did the whole game. They played with the Cowboys. They embarrassed them with all these stupid little trick plays that worked. And Mike McCarthy should have been fired immediately the next day for this performance. So, I mean, I'm getting so riled up over this because it was just, and I'm a Lions fan, but it was just such a disgusting performance by the Dallas Cowboys. I'll send it over to Sean. What did you think about that?
Well, I have from an inside scoop that Mike McCarthy is not a good person to be around in real life either. So the more he fails, the happier it makes me, because I hate to see bad people be well in things. I just don't like it. So if he's a bad guy, he doesn't deserve anything, and the fact that he's losing is just like icing on the cake for me, man. So, yeah, I definitely think he should be fired. I'm 100% on board with that. Get him out of there if Jerry knows what's good for him. I think what Jerry's going to end up waiting on is what's going to happen with Dion. And he's going to move on that out in the offseason. That's my prediction, is Dion's going to be the Cowboys head coach.
Oof.
Write it down.
You got Bill Belichick sitting out there waiting. Just pay that man, bring him in, and have him straighten out that organization.
Do you think Bill wants to do that? He actually legitimately looks like he's enjoying the stress-free life of just talking shit.
Oh, no, I think he wants to get back in the game, for sure.
You think so? I mean, he looks like he's happy as hell just sitting there, like, breaking down all the shit everybody else is doing wrong on the field.
No,
like, he seems like he really likes it.
He's an action guy. I guarantee he wants back in. For sure, especially if Jerry makes him the high. I mean, these guys are all egotistical maniacs. I mean, if Jerry has to make him the highest paid coach ever, so you think he would like not take the money to come back and coach the Dallas Cowboys?
I like what Brady said. He has a 20-year-old girlfriend. He's loving life right now. He doesn't have time to coach.
Anything on that game, Connor?
No, that was terrible.
No, that was terrible.
Yeah, I just have one thing. There's just one thing to say about it.
I like the Lions' performance, man. I think this next week, man, if I'm not mistaken, it's Minnesota and Lions next week, which that's got to be the game of the week. I mean, geez, that's going to be an epic matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well,
to the Cowboys, wouldn't you say? I was just going to say, Scott. Yeah, wouldn't you say that it's something like this?
That was the Cowboys' performance. Just to play the song.
Like McCarthy's theme song.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think Jerry Jones. I just hate him too. So I mean, it's all his fault from the top.
Right. That's so funny. I definitely don't think McCarthy's going to be there by the end of this season. I mean, or by 2025, I should say. He might make it through the season, because I don't know if Jerry's really big on firing guys midseason or not. I'd have to look that up, but. You know, he's not. I don't think he's 2025.
Jerry is notorious for holding on hope to coaches for too long. He did it with Jason Garrett. So
well, I think this is that year. I held on to him too long.
I don't even know. I mean, we did this for 3 years previously with Jason Garrett. We were like, oh, he's gone. The next year,
they just paid Dak, right? So do you think Dak's going to have a say in what happens now that Dak's been paid as much as he has and he's locked down for another 4 or 5 years with them?
That was another deal that
Jerry doesn't listen to anybody. So sorry.
Hate him.
Jerry listens to nobody, so Dax don't have no say. So
when you're a billionaire, I mean, do you really have to listen to anybody though? I mean, you know, there's still people are still buying Dallas Cowboy jerseys and tickets to the games and all that good jazz, right? So does he really have to listen to anybody? I mean, he do whatever the hell he wants, right?
All right, let me. I'll talk about another team that's. I mean, it's pretty surprising. What do you guys think about those Bucks, man? Those Buccaneers, man. 51 on the Saints defense on the road. I mean, they're for real. I mean, I'll send it over to Connor. I mean, the Bucks are definitely. I wouldn't say maybe a Super Bowl contender, but I mean they're definitely like a NFC Championship contender, don't you think?
Yeah, possibly. But if they're the NFC Championship contender, they're a Super Bowl contender. So, but I will say I think they're, like you were calling the Chiefs frauds. I don't believe in the Tampa Bay playoff hopes too much. I think Baker's probably going to resort back to old Baker in the playoffs or so. I like all of them fantasy wise. I think Baker's going to be good for you fantasy for the rest of the season. Same with Godwin and Evans and Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker, everybody but Rachaad White. So,
and let's not forget that game did not start out with the Buccaneers kicking ass and taking names. The Saints were on fire to start, and Spencer Rattler, I know Brady brought him up and wanted to talk a little Spencer, and it's his first game. He was a rookie coming in, the defense was holding their own as long as they could, but as time went on, they just kind of wore out, and then Baker started doing Baker things. So, that's not going to be a consistent factor for them. Always going to be playing against a guy in his first game. So
that's wrong, though. They did start up 17-0, and then they lost the lead.
Yeah.
Was it the other way around? Was it they started out hot and then the Saints came back? Okay,
yeah.
So I had it backwards.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, everyone's waiting for the shoe to drop with Baker, and I don't see it. I mean, this guy.
It only happened last week,
I mean, this guy's going to bust all the player props for the year. Yards, touchdowns. I mean, he's having a tremendous year. I mean,
who do you think is going to be the higher scoring fantasy player between Evans and Godwin?
Godwin.
By the end?
By the end of the season, yeah.
Probably still Godwin.
You still think Godwin?
Godwin in that slot role is, killing it. He's wide receiver 1 right now, I think. So, by quite a bit. So,
like overall wide receiver 1?
Yeah, I think he's like 20 something points ahead of the next guy too.
Was that because we had like the injury situation with like Neighbors and?
Yeah, Neighbors was 1. I think before he left, I think Godwin might have been 1. I don't remember exactly, but
Neighbors was 1 until he got hurt.
And then Nico.
Yeah, then Nico was right there around them. I guess it's not as big as I thought. It's only a 4-point lead on Jamar Chase, but then it's like a 20-point gap between them two and the next guy.
Yeah, so he's still in that top 4 level right now with those other 2 guys that were right there with him before the injuries.
Yeah.
And then I think JJ is probably going to be close behind, right? He's got to be maybe the next guy even.
Well, no, because he had a bye, so he's going to be a little.
Oh yeah, yep, that's right. Damn bye week's going to start kicking in and screwing everything up.
Yeah.
All right, well let's get into the elite performances for each positions. We'll get into the quarterbacks. We'll start off with them, and the top of the list, number 1 quarterback for the week. I mean, he's a rookie, Caleb Williams, number 1. Baker sitting at number 2, Jordan Love at 3, Goff at 4, Josh Allen at 5, Brock Purdy 6, Justin Fields 7, Jalen Hurts 8, Jaden Daniels 9, Bo Nix 10, Joe Burrow 11, and Drake May 12. So I'm going to go to Sarah on this one. And what sticks out to me like a sore thumb, Sarah, is in the top 12 this week, we got Drake May, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. We have 4 rookie quarterbacks in the top 12. Right. And what did you like? Did you like what you saw to Drake May enough to moving forward, potentially by the end of the year, kind of talk about, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May all being in a position at the end of the year where it justified their rookie draft order as like the 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks?
Yeah, I would say that I I mean, look, this is like Caleb went off, and I think a lot of us fantasy owners of Caleb, I have more Daniels than I have Caleb, but my leagues that I do have Caleb, I was like, oh my God, finally, he's like really showing up now. Like, I mean, he's been okay, he's been pretty good in some, but he finally is like showing up, and I'm like, okay, if he can play like that a little more consistently, I know he can't do it every single game, then I can
every week.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think I still see Jaden as a little bit higher in quality for me personally. I always have. But if Caleb keeps on, hitting ceilings like this, then I think, that could be pretty close. But I definitely think May, at least in the drafts, I was doing rookie drafts and him going around anywhere between like, 5th and 9th, depending on, how late in the season you were doing your rookie draft. But, I think that if he can keep playing and get better and better and better, him and Douglas had a good connection. But yeah, if he can keep playing like that, I definitely see him being worthy of that first round pick for sure. Oh, did we lose Scott?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Definitely. Yeah, we lost Scott for a second, but I'll hold down the fort till he gets back here. But Zuby's brought up a good point. Like, May a good streaming option for you guys going forward, or do you think you need a little more time before you can commit to that?
I always wait another week or two with rookies.
Sorry, guys, I had a technical difficulty there.
Yeah, well, welcome back.
I think if you're streaming it, it's fine, though. If you have, Matthew Stafford on a bye or Aaron Rodgers on a bye or something like that, I think
if you need him, sure.
Yeah, plug and play him is fine. I mean, he's not going to, get you a 30-point performance in all likelihood, but he has a decent floor of, 17 points or so. So I'd play him in front of, a few guys, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, probably.
Watson at this point. I played Russell Wilson ahead of Deshaun Watson.
I noticed this weekend out of the rookies, Caleb looked like the game slowed down for him. He looked really good. Going through his progressions. Drake May looked really good too. I mean, he looked like he's ready for the big spotlight. So Bo Nix, on the other hand, he's not doing it through the air, but what's saving his bacon is he's doing it with his legs, which is good. So I just think
what is his air yards right now? Isn't it like some sort of like ridiculously low, yards per pass type of thing?
Yeah,
it's like 2 or 3 yards on average lower than everybody else, or something crazy like that.
Yeah, he doesn't. His passing efficient isn't great, but like I said, his legs are bailing him out, and we don't really have to talk about Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's definitely the cream of the crop of it so far this class. But the good thing is, I mean, going forward, the quarterback position, we have some good young quarterbacks going forward. So this is, this is great for the position. Some guys that were outside the top 12 this week, and I'm going to go to Connor with this guy. And I want to ask you, should we maybe pull the reins back a little bit on Kyler Murray?
Yeah, it's looking like it. I do want to comment on something. Brady said, when is Winston time? Winston time was like 4 weeks ago. The Browns just haven't caught on to it yet. But, Kyler Murray has looked at – I mean, he's had, up and down weeks. It's been kind of a roller coaster. He really – like the game last week, he had, 82 rushing yards, and I don't think he even had 20 this game or something like that. He has had, up and down weeks. I think it's because of the time he missed last year. But I do think he's going to step it up a little bit, but maybe not to my top 3, hopes preseason.
Got you. All right. We'll move on to the backs, the tailbacks. And coming in at number 1, I mean, I don't think anyone had this on their bingo card. It's Sean Tucker came in at number 1. Joe Mixon was number 2, Bijan 3. The King was in at number 4. Tyrone Tracy, man. Gotta love this guy. This guy's got to win the starting job going forward, and they can't stick Singletary back out there. Breece Hall, number 6. DeAndre Swift, number 7. David Montgomery, number 8. Lead back, fresh off a 2-year contract extension. Number 9, Kenneth Walker. 10, Najee. 11, Tyler Algier. And 12, Bucky Irvin. So we got 2 Falcons and we got 2 Buccaneers. And I'm going to go to Sklem on this one. What are we doing with this Buccaneer backfield going forward?
Oh, I think it's definitely going to be the Bucky Irving show and Sean Tucker show. It's pretty much Rachaad White is out. I feel like there was a certain analyst who wasn't high on him all offseason and kept talking about how he was being overdrafted. And I didn't think he was going to have that offensive backfield for much longer. And here we are. Oh, wait, did I tip my hat? It was me. I'm sorry. But
I do remember Scott also saying very similar things. About
yes, we were in agreement on that one.
Yeah. I know Tortoise is probably very upset at this news. I know he was a big Rashid White guy.
Yeah, it definitely is not going to be Rashid White. Both of those backs proved that they're better than Rashid White. He's probably relegated to third string at this point, and we might start seeing him covering punts on special teams or something. But it's definitely going to be those two for my book. I think it'll be like kind of a split backfield scenario. I don't think we're going to get this type of performance regularly out of Sean Tucker. I think he'll be kind of the 35 to 40% to the 60 to 65% of Irving. So, that's kind of where I see that backfield moving forward.
All right, Sarah. Tyrone Tracy, should Singletary owners be a little worried about their shares? Because this Tracy kid, he looks legit. He can do everything. Catch the ball, run with power. He looks really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, the perfect person to ask, because I do have a ton of Singletary and a bunch of Tracy behind him. Luckily, if you were smart enough to take that handcuff or get him in time, that's a great thing to have. I'm definitely worried about Singletary's future because there was a few leagues where I wasn't able to grab Tracy. But yeah, I think that it's nice to have both just in case, but it seems like, yeah, I mean, it's so tough when things like this happen and then the back comes back from injury and you're like, okay, who do I play? Are they going to split it? Are they going to give it back to him? Or neither of them going to get enough touches, But I mean,
more talented, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way Tracy isn't going to take the lead at least by the end of the year. I mean, if not right away. Like, I don't think there's any way he's not.
Yeah, I could see it very similar to like back in the day when they had like that two-headed backfield in San Diego, right? When it was still San Diego, kind of that style, that he'll be that passing back, Singletary will, and Tyrone will be that guy who's in there for, most of the first, second downs and then some third downs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I know Brady said, what should a fab bid be for Tucker?
A what bid?
A fab.
A
Well, how much?
Fob.
You know
Fob.
what a fob is? A fob is like your key fob. That's a fob. Okay.
But fab is 1A. It's 2 A's, man.
Hey.
It's fob.
Brady, how much fab do you guys start with? 100?
Usually just speaking percentages.
Yeah, it's speaking percentages.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I would say probably I'd be a little careful with blowing the bank on this. I would probably just put maybe 10 to 15%, maybe closer to 10 to 12%. I wouldn't go super crazy. What about you, Connor? I know you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I think that's still. I mean, I think he's taking that. He's still going to be the odd man out of there. I think it's still going to be Bucky Irving or Rashad, White. But
yeah, I agree.
I would maybe. I mean, if you need a running back, I mean, 10% might be perfect. I think that's a little high if you don't. I'm probably not bidding on him very many places unless I have a really deep bench. And 5%.
I think he ran himself out of my price range.
Sorry?
I think he ran himself out of my price range.
So you think 10% too much?
Yeah, I mean, unless you have a huge bench, I think he's going to go to people that are overbuilding because of one performance, and he's not going to have that workload again.
Yeah, exactly. Not that 10% is too much. That I think there's people that are going to bid a lot more than that are going to outbid you either way.
Yeah, people will jump on it.
And then Brady said, "Is D'Ernest a better look?" I'm just staying away from the Browns backfield. I mean, I want nothing.
That's the Jags.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not touching
He went to the Jags.
I would still stay away from that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd stay away from anything on the Jags that's not named Brian Thomas.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, the guys that were just outside the top 12, we already talked about Ray Davis. Looked really, really good. Some guys that were Kamara didn't have the greatest week. Damian Pierce snuck in there. Damian Pierce is definitely the RB2 in that offense. It's if you have Cam Akers and
Cam
Akers got traded.
Cam Akers?
Yeah, to the Vikings.
Whoa, when did
Wow.
that just happen? The last hour?
Happened
Did
like
that just happen?
2 hours ago or so.
Oh, I must have missed
Wow.
For a
Also,
six
now
round.
Damian Pierce is definitely the backup then.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the back.
Yeah, Dare Awimaway is probably the third stringer.
I'll go to. You know what? I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to our Chargers expert here, and Sarah. Give our gamers some analysis on Vidal.
Well, I've always loved Vidal, not just because he went to the Chargers. I liked him before that. I loved that they used him as the RB2 this last week. I'm really happy about that because I've been waiting for him to get a chance to show anything. I think people got really nervous when he was like, a scratch and, just like not really doing anything with them. So
He's a rook.
obviously when Gus gets back, I think he's going to revert back, but I think that they're really just wanted to see what he can do, and he looked pretty decent. So I don't think there's any way he doesn't become at least like a 1B at some point, like next year, at the very least.
Like this year, because obviously he's on the waiver wire. I mean, is he worth like 5% bit fab or?
I mean, in a lot of my leagues, he's on the taxi squads. Well, for Dynasty, obviously in redrafts, he's on every waiver wire. But yeah, no, I mean, maybe like I wouldn't go probably more than 7, like at tops, but like 5 is probably pretty fair because I don't really know if he's going to keep doing this or if they're going to keep using him because it also depends on, Justin Herbert can keep a lead, but and Dobbins has been playing so damn well. Like I said, when Gus comes back, I think that it's still going to be Dobbins and Gus in the top 2. So I think we'll see. I don't know if I would actually in a redraft take him off the waivers yet for anything more than like probably 3 to 5%.
I would rather have Vidal or whatever you want to say, Vidal, however you want to say his name. I'd rather have him over Sean Tucker.
I'm 100%.
Interesting.
I was going to say
Yeah.
the same thing, actually. I was going to follow up Connor with the same thing. I'd put more on him than I would Tucker.
All right, that's
So you have less faith in Gus than you do Rashad.
Yes, because I don't think Gus is for sure going to come back and take that role. I think that Vidal showed a lot of promise, and I think Gus has been on his way down throughout the season.
Mhm.
So to me, I think Gus is going to take a back seat to Vidal, and he's going to take that mentor role, and Vidal's going to be the guy that comes in, calling JK, or even potentially taking the role for because who's to say he's going to stay healthy?
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, Gus is
Not just because of that, but because of his passing catching ability that you saw this weekend. Is PPR passing catching out of the backfield is huge, and so I'm more comfortable with him as a pass catcher than I am Sean Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm certainly not playing him yet.
well, gamers, that's some good analysis right there.
Can I say one thing, Scott, before we move off running backs? Because I
go
definitely
ahead.
want to mention this, is that there was a pretty big injury in the Eagles game. And depending on the length of time that this guy could be out, it could really affect Saquon Barkley moving forward for the next multiple weeks. So keep an eye on Jordan Mailata's injury. And if he doesn't come back soon, if he's got a multiple week out kind of situation going on, I'd be concerned about Barkley for a few weeks just because that he is such a vital piece of that O-line. And now that Kelsey's gone, if he's out too, that could really be a hindrance for their run game and their run blocking.
Got you. I don't know, man. I think Sean just said that because he's available in the Guillotine League, and Sean's trying to knock him down the pedestal so he can try to snap him up with the little bit of fab that he has left. So
Hey, I'm just saying, all you Barkley owners out there, man, I'm just trying to give you guys a heads up. Don't listen to Scott. I don't have any ulterior motives. I'm not here for my own self gain here. I want to
Nobody's
help you.
benching Barkley anyway.
So yeah, so that's so like I said, gamers, when everyone's bidding on Sean Tucker, go ahead and slip a small bid in there for Vidal and let everybody chase those Tucker points, and you could possibly get yourself a good RB2 in Vidal if he ends up taking the secondary role from next to Dobbins.
Yeah, I'm starting to like my trade now that I got rid of Rashad and ended up with Nick Chubb, Vidal, and like a first or something.
I think Vidal is my top RB ad this week on the waiver wire.
All right.
Nice.
Even over Garendo?
Yes, because I don't think Garendo is injury dependent, where I think Vidal doesn't need injury to
Some standalone. Vidal could have some standalone value. Got you. All right, gamers. Go ahead and do that when you set up your fab bidding for the week for tonight. All right, we'll move on to receivers. Like we talked about before, the number one in the Bucs offense, Godwin, comes in at number 1. Garrett Wilson comes in at number 2. AJ Brown returns at number 3. Great DFS play if you had him in your lineup last week. Alan Lazard comes in at number 4. So back-to-back Jets at 2 and 4. Terry McLaurin was unlocked again with Jaden Daniels, great quarterback. Zay Flowers in at number 6. We have a Gabe Davis sighting at number 7. I wouldn't think too much of that.
Boom.
Who?
Yeah, Gabe Davis, number 7. Demario Douglas, number 8. We'll circle back at him when we're done here. Keenan Allen comes in at number 9. Debo at 10. Romeo Doubs at 11, and Deontay Johnson at number 12. So we're going to circle back to Demario Douglas, who's had back-to-back weeks of 9 targets, quarterback change. I will eat some crow. I said earlier in the year he sucks at football, and with the quarterback change, it looks like he is unlocked. So
I kind of told you that at the time. I feel like I talked back to you about that one. I felt like that was a misuse of the "he sucks at football" phrase.
I know Ken was mad. Actually, Ken did mention Demario Douglas. I think earlier in the year. So, I'm gonna go to Connor first. I know he's got to be probably on some waiver wires. What's it gonna take to get him on your team if he's out there? He's got to be the number 1 ad as far as a receiver if nobody has him. Correct this week.
Douglas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably say so, but I would assume most people have him. I'm not in a lot of leagues that aren't deep benches, so I don't know if he's going to be out there. And especially in Ballsville, I assume he's probably everywhere. I don't know what other receiver would be rostered from the Patriots if it's not Douglas. I'm just trying
Polk,
to think.
maybe.
Polk. I think a lot of Polk people had a lot of Polk.
Yeah, I own a lot of Polk personally, but I mean, in most leagues, it's still going to be Douglas over Polk,
So going forward, then I mean he should be the legit one going forward with Drake May.
Yeah, I assume so. I mean, that's what it looked like. Polk had 4 targets and caught 1 or something like that. So I like Polk's talent going dynasty wise. I still think Douglas is probably their redraft receiver. A flex play at most, though. Still not comfortable with the rookie quarterback there. So.
Yeah, you're playing him if you have an injury situation going on with one of the 9 different receivers that's out right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, some guys that are just outside. CeeDee Lamb came in at number 19. Let's see. Devontae Smith came in at number 22. Bob Means came in at 21. So we talked about him earlier of a guy that we could possibly pick up. Nobody like that. I mean, Drake London was 15. So what about Tyler Lockett? Tyler Lockett came in at 18. JSN's been getting a lot of targets along with Metcalf. So I think Lockett, he should still be a flex play going forward. Sean?
Yeah, I think so, because that offense is pretty wide open style of passing. A lot of three wide receiver sets coming out of that offense. So I definitely think it's worth he's definitely worth rostering and potential matchup flex play.
Okay, got you. And then Josh Downs. So I'll go to Sarah on this one. I said I'd like this guy all along when he came back from injury. You got Michael Pittman there. Who's supposed to be the alpha. We did have that back injury this week. But he did catch a touchdown. I mean, Josh Downs going forward. I mean, you got to like this guy. I mean, he's got to be in your lineup. WR2, WR3.
For sure. Yeah. I'm mostly putting Downs in my flex spots lately. Just, obviously it depends on what your wide receiver core looks like. But because I don't think anyone drafted him thinking that he would be in the wide receiver slots for you in your leagues. But I think a lot of people like Downs. I like Downs, and I'm loving that, Flacco is, definitely helping for his fantasy numbers. So I don't know if they're going to stay the same with
Rich comes back. what happens
That's
then.
what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering, right? Like, we're going to have to kind of wait and see. I'm like, when Average comes back, do I want to start Downs or do I want to wait and see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, I think as fantasy managers, you really don't. I mean, at least me, I want to see Flacco in there. I mean, Sean, would you rather see Flacco or Average? I mean, for all the pieces,
I want to see A-Rich for one game come out there and blow it up with a couple long touchdowns so that I can trade him off in my big league, and then I want to see Flacco for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Brady said in chat we should also talk about Russ Wilson, and he laughed about it. We did talk about him earlier. We were talking about Justin Fields, and I think we were all in agreement that Fields is probably the better play going forward. But we don't run the organization, so Mike Tomlin, he's the coach, and they're going to put oatmeal pants out there and let him run around and make mistakes.
Let's ride, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I mean, see what happens. See what happens in that situation. But I think the panel agrees that he should just stick with the Steelers. Should just stick with Fields. Okay, we'll move over to the tight end here.
I do think it's funny that the Jets had 2 receivers in the top 5 this week, and they still traded for Devontae Adams.
That's why I said you didn't need to do that, but we all know who's running that organization, and it's not anybody in the that wears a suit and tie.
All right, we got a 2-game lead plus the tie break, so I'm okay with that.
All right, tight ends. We'll move on to them. Another big week from Cole Kmet. He looks like he's going to be definitely involved in that offense, which is actually kind of surprising with all the receivers there. But a young quarterback, they say his best friend is always the tight end. So
I mean, we called Kmet a couple of weeks ago. Me and Sean. I don't know who else was on that pod, but we said Kmet was a boomer bust play. He's the guy that you plug and play and hope he gets 24 points, and he did that. I wouldn't expect this every week from Cole Kmet. If you're playing him, don't rely on Cole Kmet getting you 24 points. He's probably going to resort.
A couple of those, like that one touchdown was just like sheer, like him just like willing himself to the end zone. He's not going to be able to do that every time,
Yeah,
but going forward though, he's still you still have to put him in your lineup.
Yeah, you just don't rely on him.
Yeah.
Don't be like you're set at tight end for the season.
Yeah, don't trade away Trey McBride because you've got Cole Kmet.
Exactly, 100%, exactly, Sean.
Yeah, got you. All right, Jorge Kittle comes in at number 2. Evan Ingram back from injury, number 3. Trey McBride comes in at number 4. The Brockness Monster comes in at number 5. Brock Bowers. We have a Mark Andrews sighting at number 6. Hunter Henry at number 7. That could be interesting because of the new quarterback change. So Noah Fant comes in at number 8. Sam Laporta with his 1 target for a touchdown comes in at number 9. Dalton Kincaid, number 10. Zach Ertz, number 11. And Grant Calcaterra comes in at number 12. I forgot to mention the injury to Dallas Goedert, a hamstring injury that could keep him out. So looking at this list, are you hitting the panic button, Sarah, on Sam Laporta? I mean, it was like 1 target, 1 touchdown. They're just not targeting him in this offense.
Yeah, I'm really happy that I don't have a lot of shares of him because he was going so high. It wasn't worth paying the price for me for a tight end at that early, or in auctions as well. He was going so high. So I don't have a lot of them, thank goodness. But I am I'm pretty surprised that he's not really like getting the ball as much. I mean, J-Mo's really taking over all the receiving there. And if I'm owning him, I'm really worried. It's like one of those situations, right? How can I not have him in my lineup? But how can I,
I mean, there's just at this point, you got to play players like Zach Ertz over him because of the targets. Crazy. You're not playing Zach Ertz.
I had to bring up Ertz.
Why can't you play Zach Ertz over him?
I mean, I can't argue with you right now.
Zach Ertz is at least getting targeted. He's at least getting targeted every game. Sam Laporta got 1 target.
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, and it was on a trick play, wasn't it?
In a blowout, though. Let's be honest. It was in a blowout. They ran the ball a majority of the time.
But do you really want a guy that's involved? No. Do you really want a guy that's like your top 3-round drafted player who you expect to be a staple in your team?
I'm not arguing there, but I'm gonna argue with Zach Ertz.
And specific.
Okay,
I'm gonna argue with Zach Ertz though. I'm not gonna argue with that he's putting up his potential, but I'm not arguing with Zach Ertz. I am arguing with Zach Ertz.
Okay. All right. Are you playing Cole Kmet over him?
No.
Wow.
Tucker Kraft.
I wish
Tucker
I had
Kraft, I
Sam
might
Laporta
consider.
so I could trade him to you, Connor.
Trade me Laporta.
Well, I don't have any shares of him because I was smart. I didn't draft him.
I don't have any shares of him either because I was smart, but I'll buy him now.
I have like 2 or 3 shares of him because
Buy him low.
But I got a lot of Dalton Kincaid, and I don't think that's the last time you're going to see him in the top 10 now that we've got Mr. Cooper here over my left shoulder.
No. Now he's going to be in the top 10, huh? It was because he's going to get all the targets. Now he's number 2. Now he'll definitely get points.
Okay, John, are we?
Okay, all right, I'm going to work my way back up to the first spot. All right, I'm just not going to start calling it out right now.
All right. So, Sean, I gave the panic button to Sarah. So, I mean, I don't know if it's too much of a panic button, but I mean, Kyle Pitts. I mean, are we kind of? I mean, we're not going to get any return investment on this, right?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think it's horrible for Kyle. I really don't. I think he'll be the way the tight end position is working out. I think he'll still finish up in the top 12 as a TE1. I don't think it'll be high end top 12 like I thought it had potential at the beginning of the season, but I still think he finds his way into the top 12 by the end of the season. So, they're throwing the ball a lot more in that offense, which is encouraging, right? I mean, granted, most of them are going to Mooney or even McLeod, it seems like. But either way, I still think Pitts is going to end up getting some targets, and they seem to be targeting him often in the red zone too. There's been a couple of plays where he's been wide open, he's been missed also. So eventually, I think it'll come together up there. I'm a little more confident in the role that he has in that offense than like a guy like you said, like with Zach Ertz for sure. So I'm playing him over a guy like that, or even maybe Tucker Kraft, or Cole Kmet at this point. Still, I just have that much more faith in him. Not a lot, but that much more.
Got you. And one guy that's kind of sneaky under the radar now with the trade, maybe somebody might have dropped him. I don't know why they would, but David Njoku, now that Cooper is gone, target's got to go somewhere. I don't know if I really trust Jerry Jeudy that much. So David Njoku, if somebody dropped him, go and scroll through your waivers, and he would definitely be with the way the tight end situation is this year.
And if they're on the sell block in Cleveland, who's to say he stays on the Browns too?
Yeah,
I mean, he's an intriguing, talented target that somebody could want on their team.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, Deshaun Watson. Like Njoku's like the only guy that he knows how to throw to. Apparently, I mean, he was like, I don't know if anyone would actually drop Njoku. If they do, I'm not sure they should be playing Tennessee. But
feel like the Browns might be on their way to a tire fire season purposely, so that they can get rid of Watson and not have to go crazy to trade up and just use their pick to get back.
Right.
Honestly, I mean, they're 1-4. If they're trading away Cooper this early in the season, it could genuinely be just like a move on fire sale moment for them.
Are we sure we want any piece of that Browns offense though?
I don't.
But
I mean, like I said, with the
and
way tight
Njoku's
ends,
got me some good points this week.
I mean, the way tight ends been with some teams though. I mean, if like I said, if you're a Laporta owner, if you're an Andrews owner, I mean, Andrews only did it 1 week. I mean, if Njoku's out there, I mean, there's nobody there in the offense to throw to. If they're behind in games, they're going to throw, and when he's healthy, he's good.
Yeah, I don't know about. I mean, if he's dropped, I agree. I don't think he should be dropped. I think he's definitely be rostered, but it's not somebody that you're. Another name you're not comfortable playing with every week.
Yeah. You play him if you need to.
You'll be surprised at people that are dropped. I mean, I was in a home league. I'm in a home league right now where somebody dropped Pacheco, and I'm trying to figure out, should I pick him up?
Yes.
We have thin. I mean, we don't have we don't have an IR spot.
So?
We don't have.
Wait, is this a dynasty?
Carried him this whole time on
No.
a super expensive league on my roster without a IR spot. So yes, pick his ass up.
Yeah. So I was debating, man. Should I pick him up?
Well, what's your record?
I'm 5-5. We play double headers.
So
Pick him up.
what's like the typical range of playoffs?
We don't have playoffs. We pay
Okay.
top 3 best record, top 3 most points. 12.
Yeah, then I'd still probably pick him up then. I mean, if you were like, a losing record or whatever, then yeah, probably not pick him up because if you don't have any IR spots, it'd just be waste for another couple of weeks. But if you have the room, and he's going to produce later on, I'd say probably pick him up.
Yeah. And as good as Hunt's been doing, it doesn't mean that when Pacheco comes back, he's not going to be that bell cow again.
Yeah, it's just the timeline is a little worrisome. That's the only thing.
Right.
I mean, he's supposed to come back week 9 or 10, right?
Yeah, I think week 8 or 9 he's supposed to come back. It's coming up. I was thinking of like if I'm gonna have an opportunity to pick him up, it'd have to be like
now.
Tonight.
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it because, like you said, do you have the depth on your roster to cover the next 3 weeks at running back?
I mean, I'd have to drop somebody like Jonathan Brooks. He's like my worst running back.
I don't know if I'd drop him. And there's nobody else that you could move at all. Like who's your rest of your stable?
I could drop Justice Hill or Antonio Gibson.
Oh, Justice Hill.
I would rather drop Gibson.
I would drop Gibson.
The only reason why I have Hill is because I have King.
Henry.
Yeah.
I would drop Gibson just because
Hill's to pick up Pacheco.
Because you're not playing Gibson over the next 2 or 3 weeks anyways.
No.
Yeah, and you've got Derrick Henry, and that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, and then I got Brooks when he comes back, and I picked up on Sunday morning. I picked up Ray Davis on Sunday morning.
Yeah. So. Brady says he'd drop either one of them for Pacheco. So yeah, that's 4-1 right there.
All right, thanks guys. I'm going to put a bid in for Pacheco.
Here, go do it now. I'll handle the pod while you go take care of it.
All right, we will. We're going to move on to the high stakes leagues. This is my baby. These are my high stakes leagues that Sean and I run, and I updated them today. I do a little stats section for my high stakes guys, so we'll bring that up right away. And this shows the top 10 overall records in the league. You can see the top is Grizz Tony, and I've reached out to Grizz Tony. He's a really good player in these high stakes leagues, and I plan to have him on next Tuesday. Down his instruction.
Your dog loves him too.
And how he moves.
That's my dog.
Navigating these high stakes leagues. So I got Grizz Tony at the top. The Magneto League, he's 5-1 with a 963 points. We got Zay in the Sinister in second. He's 5-1. JoJo, our pod. He was on Monday's pod with the boys for the guillotine, and he's also does our prop bet and DFS on the website. He's in Wolverine. He's 5-1. TD Exorm and Iceman is 5-1. Thrill Kills 5-1 in Gambit. There's Clem and Phoenix sitting at 5-1. What's up, Sean? We got Colin Black.
He's hanging out.
He's at 5-1, and we got Grizz Tony again at 5-1 in Deadpool. So Grizz Tony's 5-1 in 2 of the high stakes leagues, which is really good. I actually looked through there, and he's only in about half of those leagues. So that's really good accomplishment being 5-1 in 2 leagues like that. He probably has a little bit different players because of his points total. He's 963 and then 936, so he's probably got a few different guys. And then Zay is another one that is in the top spot in 2 leagues, 5-1 in one and 4-2 in the other, and that's the Colossus League. So then I break down the top 10 overall most points because I've had owners say, well, I got a ton of points in some leagues and I'm like sitting at like 4th place. So give me some recognition. I'm like, okay, well, I'll throw it in there then. So Keith Richards is in Gambit, 988. That's the most points in the whole league. So he's sitting in the top spot. And I think in that league, believe it or not, I think he's like in 4th place. It's crazy.
Wow.
Having that kind of points. So he just ran into some, heavy matchups the weeks that he played. So yeah, it's unfortunate that he ran into that situation. We got Grizz Tony again, 963 in Magneto, Zay in Sinister, Cash is in the Sinister at 949, Jesse 24, Yessie I guess it is, and Nightcrawler 936. There's JoJo, he's in the top in Wolverine, 933. There's Mr. Ben doing this, Wolverine at 931. Ketting 22 and Deadpool 918. There's Jeff Zubikis. He pops in Deadpool at 917. And then Mr. Ben doing this again in Phoenix at 915. So you can see Mr. Ben, he has 2 teams in the top 10 for most points. And I think somebody else in there too. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I feel for you, Keith Richards. You're in 4th place. In my best league in mid-states, I have over 100 points over the next most points person 4, and I'm in 6th place sitting at 3-3. So I feel your pain.
Yeah, that's
982 points.
Yeah, that's wild. So that's
look at Zoobs too. Zoobs is at 917 in the Deadpool league, and then if you look at the guy in the lead, Grizz Tony with the Deadpool, he only has 689 points.
Yep.
300 points less, almost. 200 and change points less.
Yeah,
and who knows what Zoob's record is?
And he's 5-1.
Yep.
5-1. So it's all about the matchups too. Getting in these matchups and that's why my home league. We give top 3 for most points and top 3 for best record because, we got to reward the players that have the most points, too. So
we've had this discussion in one of my home leagues for years, and they just voted out the 6th position in the playoffs. This season is the first season without this 6th position going to the most points overall.
Yeah. Maybe we could talk to Alex about next year, maybe doing a league median or something, or to try to maybe balance.
We had this whole discussion last night on last night's pod. We're not going to go over it again. If you want to hear the discussion, it's on last night's pod.
Oh, I might have fell asleep during that part.
Hey, you know what? It's Scott's pod. He can talk about whatever he wants to talk about, Connor. Okay, you just
That's okay. That's something we'll circle back to that at the end of the year when we go over settings for next year. So
league medians or
well, we play double headers in my league, so
yeah.
My home league play double headers, which I like a lot better.
League medians are.
I love league mediums.
So and then top 4, what I break down as the top 4 playoff bracket positions, playoff positions. So basically, like it says, some of these teams are in the top 4 in multiple leagues, and that's the playoff position is top 4. And that's why I want to have Grizz Tony on. And 4 of the leagues, and I think he's only in about 5 or 6 of the high stakes, and 4 of those leagues he's sitting in a playoff position, which is really, really good. So Zay 2403 is in 4, Mr. Ben's in 4, and then I have Zay twice. That was bad. I got to edit that.
There's probably somebody you left out now too, and they're sitting there going, "I'm in 4."
Yeah, you know what? It probably was. I have to go back and look. So JoJo's is in 3. Congratulations, JoJo, and then Cash is also in 3. So that is the stats breakdown for the high stakes league. We can go to scroll through the leagues real quick, and you can see in this one right here, we got Wolverine, we got JoJo, Mr. Ben, Love John, and Twinsanity in the top 4. Scroll to the next one.
Yeah, it takes a second because we're doing this through the website, guys. So you can see all this information off of our website, and you can do exactly what we're doing here. You can click right through and get all this information for every league.
Sean, can you see those better? I can't read them that good. If you want to read them, go ahead.
Absolutely. We got a Moneymaker 1776 Colin BLC in first place, Team Zay in second, Team Xtony in third, and Haktua in 4. It's definitely not overused at all. Team Thrill Kill is in 1 in this league. This is High 3 Gambit. Team Thrill Kill is in first place. Team Chiefs Life 13 is in second. Keith Richards 72 is in third. And once again, Zay 2403 in 4th. Moving into High 4, Colossus. Yeah, another familiar name. Zay 2403 sitting at first place. Chiefs Life 13 sitting at second. Dougie 1727 sitting at third. And Cash 3 sitting at 4th. Moving into high stakes numero 5, which I can't think of the word. Is it Cinco? Numero Cinco?
It is.
This is the crawler league right here. This is J-C 6-point PPR. No, that's a crazy team name there, but it's working for you because you're in first place. Candlewicks -H number 5, another crazy one. I guess that helps him with his sorting. So that's in second place. Gila Monsters is in third, and Team Pablo 1 Escobar is in fourth. Look at that. Who's this guy? Team 1 in the 6th Phoenix League. Depth Crusaders.
Wow.
That lead needs a lead medium because the dude in first doesn't have most points for.
Hey, you know what? We've seen that consistently. You just didn't bring it up until now. It's nice of you. In second place, we got Ghostbusters. In third place, we got Team Coding 22. And in fourth place, we got T-Snizzle 082. Moving on over here, we got a little bit of a slow CPU. We got a lot of technological difficulties today. In high stakes league number 7, Iceman. First place, we have TDX Storm, which TDX Storm, I'm assuming that's what it is. Toon Squad, that's easy to say, in second place. Third place is Truman Needus. And fourth place, we have H number 7, Grizz Tony, which at this point, I swear that has to be some sort of a sorting thing. And moving on into Deadpool League, number 8, we have Grizz Tony at the top, again with the #8. Team Coding 22, and second, Won't You Be My Neighbor, JoJo in third. Wade Wilson, our buddy Zubies in fourth.
All right, Zoobs.
Right? He is moving his way up the leaderboard. In the high stakes number 9, Mr. Sinister. We have Team Zay 2403 once again sitting in first place. Right behind him is Cash 3. Right behind that is Big Blue 079. He's probably happy about that Tyrone Tracy news, huh? Rocky Balboa, which is our good buddy JoJo, sitting in fourth. And our final league, not least but last, we are looking at Magneto, number 10. I'm Not Cussing is sitting in number 1, which is actually our boy Grizz Tony once again. Mutant RB Bullies is sitting at second, which is our boy Cash 3. Twin Sanity is sitting in third. He's in quite a few of these leagues, and he is part of the crowd that brought over quite a few guys. So thank you, Mr. Twin Sanity, for joining us. And then we've got our last but not least fourth place guy as Team GLC 76. Congratulations to everybody.
All right, thanks, Sean, for breaking that down. And like I said, next week I'm gonna try to have Grizz Tony on here. I already was in communication with him, get him on here since he's doing very well in those high stakes leagues. We'd also like to get somebody in mid stakes eventually on here, and then low stakes, and then some of the other dynasty, and get to a point where we try to at least once a week get somebody on here to break down the roster construction and how they move forward with their leagues, and kind of meet them and put them on air, because like I said, the podcast is for you guys, and we want to try to integrate our pod, and try to get you guys on here. So don't be camera shy,
Just so you guys know, it was a very touching segment, but Connor is actually tearing up because his name wasn't called.
I didn't play any high stakes league, buddy.
Neither did I, Connor. Way too broke for that.
So that breaks down the high stakes segment for you guys, and until Friday, we'll be back on Friday. But until next week, or until Friday, my co-host Sean, for C-Bomb, for our producer Sarah M21, and until Friday, folks, we are out.
That's a wrap.